Cotman, Crawford, and the Jersey Guy podcast.
Hey everybody, Kenny Cotman.
Lewis Crawford.
And I'm Tom Ramage, the Jersey Guy.
What is happening, my peoples?
What's
everybody
up?
today?
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Like always. Good, man.
Yeah.
Missed you on the last podcast.
Yeah, how you feeling? How's everything? How's
Good.
the trip?
Feeling good, bro.
How was the trip? Good?
Yeah, it was nice. It was
Good.
nice.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. So everybody had a good week. Everything was decent.
Yeah,
Nice and groovy, copacetic.
Yep.
That's what I want to hear.
That's all. It's all good. It's Friday, man.
let's-
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Let's
Yeah.
introduce our guest.
Yeah.
Yes, so, Lou.
Our guest is Jennifer from Wounded Warrior Women. I'm sorry, woman, I should say. She corrected me the first time and I messed it up.
See.
She happens to be my daughter, and I was going to surprise her because originally she was going to come here, and I was going to let her know that she was going to be the guest. I wanted to keep it, but it still was a surprise to her anyway. So she's here, and she's going to talk about her website and why she came up with it, and we'll have a good conversation with her.
Yes, so welcome. Thank you for being on with us, even though it was a surprise.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes, it was a surprise. I called my dad this morning and said, "So what's the topic for tonight's podcast?" And he said, "You are."
Yes. Yeah.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Yes. That is great, man. That is cool as hell. So talk to us. What's your thing?
All right. So basically Wounded Warrior Woman started out as like an outlet for me, kind of to release like the energy of all the traumatic things that had happened to me, being a survivor of things like sexual assault, domestic violence, addiction, just to name a few. I really needed a place to put those things. And so I decided, hey, why don't I start a website where I can write and talk about some of these issues and maybe help some people in the process. And really, it kind of just took off from there. And basically now I'm looking at it as a way that I can help other people, women especially, but not only women, to kind of lose the stigma of
that men are not, also, because there's also men and other people
right.
who may have had this kind of experience.
Yeah, no one is excluded. I mean, trauma affects all of us in some way. We all have our own versions of trauma in our lives. And it can make us feel guilt, shame, fear. We stuff it down, we push it away into a dark corner, but it doesn't go away, and society has never really taught us how to deal with that stuff. We don't learn it in school. Our parents never taught us because their parents never taught them,
Right.
And this just really felt like something that I was uniquely equipped to help with. And, I just felt like I sort of had a duty to help in any way that I can anybody who's going through their own personal darkness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you yourself had to get to that point where you finally you said, all right, I'm done. I had enough. I need to do something different. Otherwise, this is just not going to end the way I want it to.
Right.
And
or it will end the way that I think I want it to. And the only way it was going to end at that point would be death, And so basically it was a couple of years in the making. I was slowly getting to the point where I was like, I definitely don't want to do this anymore. And when you're reaching that point, when things are getting really, 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 really bad, you really have two choices. You can let them continue to get bad and accept the fact that you are going to eventually die, from this. Or you can choose to try and heal. It took me a long time to get to the point where I felt like I was ready to heal because I kept going back to someone in my life that was very toxic for me, my mother. And I kept trying to heal with her, even though she caused a lot of the trauma that I went through and is also going through her own, very serious life stuff that she doesn't want to face. So one day I just realized letting go of her is the first step in getting better, And so I'm standing in the street one day and I realized I had to let go of my mother. I had left her the night before, and I just knew when I left that night that I probably wasn't going to see her again for a long time. And, so I was really, really feeling a lot of guilt about that. And I just said to God or the universe or whatever, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And I swear, in that moment, standing there in the street, this weight just lifted off my shoulders. And I just knew, like, I can choose to be okay. I can make that choice right now. It's not going to happen instantaneously, but I can choose to be okay. And I know it sounds simple, like, well, how come you didn't think of that before?
Because when you realize you're the one who's in control.
Right.
And you relinquish yourself to that, and you say, okay, I get it. I'm the one who's got the power here, and now I'm the one. Right.
And that's the first step, and that's why you get that relief, because you realize you're taking the first step.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a huge step, by the way. The first one is like a huge step. The rest, you go on that journey, and you just go through it the way you need to. Right.
That's when you feel better.
Right.
Like you said, huge weight off your shoulders.
I'll never forget that feeling. I mean, it literally felt like the world was coming off my shoulders when I realized I had that choice, when I had realized the power was with me.
Right.
But on the flip side of that was, okay, well, if the power was with me to heal, then the power was with me when I got sick too, when I let myself get to the point where I was at, so, further down the line in my healing, I needed to, face my own contributions to what got me where I was, in healing and spirituality, they call it facing your shadow, so it's all those things about ourselves that we don't like, all those things we try to hide and cover up and we don't like to face, we have to face them. We have to, because human beings aren't black and white. We're a bunch of gray, we're not all good or all bad. We're a mixture of all of them,
like a Jedi.
This guy, yeah.
Yes, like a Jedi. The Jedi's always been in this.
The gray, right? Isn't there a gray?
Well, isn't that Vapad? Isn't that what's his name?
Right, because he wasn't.
Samuel Jackson.
He had a Vapad. That was he balanced the dark and the light.
Right, he had a good balance.
The purple saber.
Right. That's why his purple, the purple saber.
Right. And I, of course, meant that as a compliment, but not as a joke.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, you took responsibility.
We're a little bit of geeks,
right? Yeah. So hey, a little bit. No, a lot. Yes.
I'm right at home. I'm right at home.
So we have to take responsibility eventually. What you're saying is that, okay, I'm responsible not only for the change in my life, but I'm also responsible for the reason why I'm here.
Right.
Right.
And why I have to change. So now I have to deal with that and be honest with myself and say, okay, I messed up. I got to get better. I got to do this. I can't blame this on anybody else. I can't continue to point fingers at other people for my fuck up or screw ups, right? Or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
So I get it.
Exactly. I mean, my mother and I went through a bunch of things as a child that definitely were not good. And as a child, it wasn't my fault that those things sort of messed me up. But, once I reached the point where I was making my own decisions, I played a part in perpetuating those things, and continuously doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results, and the insanity of that, So taking responsibility was huge. But at first, the key was just kindness, to treat myself with the kind of love and kindness and patience that I would give someone that I love, like my daddy or, my kids or, my partner, and that was really hard because I had no idea how to do that. I didn't even know what that would look like, So I just started with little things like meditation, with things like every time a thought came into my head, like, you're so stupid, or
a negative thought or something, right? Yeah.
I would combat it, out loud. And I would say, I'm not stupid, because that
It's
voice in your head.
That.
Yeah. Why do you say that, Tom?
Because we do that.
No, it's interesting because that was a thing I heard recently, was like sometimes in order for your brain to process things, like you have to sometimes say things out loud.
Yeah.
For your brain to like, because if you just say it in your head, it's just another thought. But when you say it out loud, it processes better.
Oh,
right.
Well,
yeah.
Just be careful when you do it.
Yeah.
Right. If you're on the train or something, people might not be too.
Yeah.
But,
you might have a few seats next to you. Yeah.
All right, let's move to the next car.
We got a live one here. Move over. This is yeah, definitely.
Officer.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. That is funny. So now my question for you, right, Jenny, is that so you started basically your own rehab by like just you didn't even go anywhere. You didn't go like to anywhere else. You didn't go.
Or did you at some point go? You did. Okay.
I did. I didn't. I didn't go to an inpatient facility, but I did go to an outpatient facility. That will give me medication to help me, get through the parts of addiction recovery or whatever.
Right.
Withdrawals and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they make you go to groups and stuff. Honestly, I enjoyed the groups sometimes, but for the most part, it just felt like sitting in the same room with the same sick people, doing the same thing. And it didn't feel like it was, going to help me.
Right.
So I knew I had to go ahead, Dad.
No, go ahead. No, I can finish my thought when you're done.
Okay. I didn't feel like it was going to be enough for me. So I needed to find something else, and take it to the next level. And that's where I started researching about meditation and the power just in that, as well as, the power in things like combating your own negative thoughts by saying them out loud, the power of our words, the power of our thoughts, the power of our energy, all of our own power that we have and what we can do with it. And then I said, well, it's working for me. There have to be other people out there who, would benefit from this. And so that's really how Wounded Warrior Woman was born.
That's awesome. And you know what? It's true. Listen, not everybody gets better the same way. Right. Some people can do the same routine and go and do those things.
Yeah.
It's like I always say to people when I quit smoking,
right?
Just as an example, I would say, there is no wrong way to quit. Mm-hmm. Figure it out.
I like that. I like that.
However you get there is fine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah. If you, some people can, do it just straight, where they don't do anything. Some people need Nicorette.
Right. I did the patch. I did the patch for like 3 or 4 months.
Whatever way you get there.
I carried a patch in my wallet for almost 10 years just to have it in there because I felt, for me, it was like, in case I had that moment. And I also stopped drinking for a couple of years too. Mm-hmm. When I went to a bar or something, instead of having alcohol,
because they were linked.
Right, and I would automatically have a cigarette.
Oh, yeah.
So what I would do is have club soda and cranberry.
Right.
So and then I would do that, and then and I would be fine. And then once I got past that point, I think after 2 or 3 years, I was like, I can have a drink now. I don't have to worry about wanting a cigarette or urging it. Now it's been almost 25 years without a cigarette now, which is fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's great.
Yeah. Like I said, I vaped. I hit the vape.
Yeah.
So saying it, whatever, like, there's no wrong way, bro.
Oh, yeah, no. But I'm always right anyway, so.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Well, yeah. That goes without saying, right?
You see?
That goes without saying.
That's funny.
So that's good. So, Jen, how many people do you have? So, I mean, are you getting a following, or has that been a harder thing or is it just coming along for you?
I have 500 followers on Facebook, and I've had some women that have reached out to me personally that I've helped. But I'm going to be changing my focus. I will still continue to write occasionally for the website, of course, but now I'm going to put my focus on the podcast.
Oh, nice. Good for you.
Yeah. I feel like turning this into a podcast will help more people, and it will sort of see, my issue was I want to help people, but I don't want to get entwined with their lives. I don't know if that makes sense. I just didn't know if I was equipped to like be a life coach, and go in and be messy inside other people's lives. I don't know if I could do that after everything I've been through. I don't know if I would be able to carry that in a healthy way. So the podcast sort of gives me an ability to reach a lot of people and help a lot of people without having to
be personal,
get too personal and too intertwined in their lives. You know what I mean? Just because I have to be realistic about, what can I handle and what can't I? I'm a very sensitive and empathetic person.
Yeah, that stuff affects you, and you take that home sometimes. So it's better, it's better for your personal self-care.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I really had to think about that.
And you're still, regardless, you're still going to be recovering. You're always going to be,
exactly
for the rest of your life. So it's not just that it just doesn't stop. Oh, I got there and I'm good. It's, the same for anybody. You know what I mean? Right. Whatever it is that they're going through. Right. And that's a journey. Yeah. But as you go, the stronger you get, the better things get. And then you handle things as they come, and they won't be as so traumatic or like this horrible thing happened. You'll handle it better than you think you might have when it does happen. If it does, hopefully it doesn't, but life is life. You never know what does going to happen,
I have a little bit of an example of that, if you don't mind, really quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Go right ahead.
Sure.
Just how how I realized I was really starting to heal. So I was pregnant with my youngest son, Isaiah, and we went for a general checkup, but it was a different doctor. My normal doctor wasn't there, and the doctor who was there couldn't find Isaiah's heartbeat. So, they had to send us to the hospital. And on the ride there, I remember thinking to myself, if for some reason we get there and they can't find his heartbeat because he's gone, I will be able to get through it. And I knew I would be able to get through it. I wasn't spiraling. I was not happy. I was terrified, but I knew I would be able to cope, and that really was a huge sign for me to know that I was.
You didn't think about jumping to the next thing to say, "Oh God, I got to do this, otherwise I'm never going to be able to deal with this."
That's insane,
right?
Which is great. That's fantastic.
I want to, if he's not in there, I'm going to go get high, or if he's not in there, I'm just going to let my life fall to pieces because this one terrible thing happened. You know what I mean? I knew in that moment that I wasn't that person anymore. And it was really a defining moment for me in my healing journey. That's for amazing. Sure.
Yeah, that's way cool. And like you said, I think for me, because I know how I deal with my own stuff. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that yours, I wouldn't be able to meditate. I'm too hyped up, to sit and meditate. I have to actually go and burn off the energy. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be able to sit still to do that. Right. And I don't even think that even with whatever traumas that I don't even remember or believe that I have, that I'm just I could do that. I commend you. You're the bomb right now.
You know what's cool? There's actually
Thank you.
There's actually meditative walking.
Yeah,
absolutely. There's 12 types of meditation. Yeah, absolutely.
I was just going to say that, and I'm actually organizing a walk for September to happen here, and it's going to be a meditation all around the world with tons of people in all different cities doing a walking meditation. And basically, I think that what it is people's impression of what meditation is
the
what
monk style
confusing.
The normal monk
right. That doesn't have to be meditation.
I thought I had to meditate and
right.
shit,
What is that style of meditation where you just pay attention to your surroundings? I can't think of the name. Like where you're
the
meditation awareness.
Yeah. Oh, it's open awareness. Open awareness meditation.
Wow,
yeah.
Word I was
man.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, we thought
really
you were
nice.
slow. Yes, very. Yeah. Here's when we thought you were like, yeah, bro. I'm so proud of you right now, bro.
I know, man. I feel good.
So I didn't even know that. I'm not even gonna make believe. Like, I'm a genius.
So you love to listen to your Walkman, the radio, right? You got those crazy.
Yeah, Walkman.
So when
you just dated the fuck
of
out
course.
of us.
I'm sorry.
Talking
my
YouTube,
God.
Hello.
walking meditation.
Holla.
Yeah.
Mindfulness. Yes, the mindfulness
The
meditation.
Walkman. Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
called mindfulness.
Yeah.
You just like pay attention
Yes,
to like the
mindfulness.
wind,
And,
pay
like-
attention to the smells.
Then you fart and fuck it all
visuals.
up.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Of course.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
But what I was trying to say before,
Well, I'm
it's like let's say you have
mindful of the
Pandora
farts.
on, you have it on your phone or whatever you're listening
Right.
to,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And you're weed whacking or you're on the mower.
Right.
That is
Yeah,
meditation.
That's a form of meditation.
You're already focused in on how you're going to cut the lawn the way you want it.
Yeah.
You're zoomed in. The music's giving you motivation,
Right.
And here's the
right?
thing.
And you're focused. You're in the
See?
zone, bro. So that is
so
meditation.
Right. So that when I say
He's
when I
so
do that shit
right.
when I'm driving, the people can't get mad.
But that's different, bro, because you're
Why is that
angry now.
different?
There's not.
You know
There's
what?
no meditation
Angry?
there.
That
You
is
know what though?
meditation.
I will say, people don't realize that is a form of meditation. And you know what's funny? When you realize when you're doing that and you're focused on something, or like you're like thoughts actually just start popping into your mind. That's what happens to people when they meditate. They're like, oh, I got this idea.
But
I got this thought. Yeah.
Right.
Right. But the key to it is while those thoughts are popping in your head when you're in the zone like that, you don't chase the thought, and take it down a path where, okay, so like while you're washing the dishes, you're in the zone, you're washing the dishes, you're smelling the soap of the dish soap and you're in the water is warm and you're in the zone and thoughts start popping in your head, but you're so in the zone that you're not chasing the thoughts. The thoughts are just there and you're letting them be. You're not trying to analyze them or letting them make you feel a certain way or not. You're just there, present, doing the dishes, and the thoughts are doing their own thing.
Right. You're just
you
letting
don't
them
have
flow.
to- Right. Letting it flow.
And not stopping on one and going, oh, yeah, okay, now I'm going to go over here.
Exactly.
Now
Exactly.
you just lost your focus.
Okay. Then
Exactly.
I
So you
meditate.
probably do it all the time
And
without
didn't
even
know.
realizing
Yeah.
you're doing it.
Exactly.
I do it when I mow the lawn.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll put my Pandora on. I'll get my headphones on, and I'll go out there, and I just even to the point where I'll go, I'm going to start wherever, kind of like how usually you have a routine. All right, I start here, and then I'm going to cut this.
Yeah.
And I do. I'm like every time I do it now, I just go, well, I'm going to start this way, and then I'm going to cut it that way.
Right.
Like I just let my free will go and let
Wow, that's really awesome,
let myself
Dad.
direct myself that way.
Yeah.
Which I think is also a cool meditation.
And can I tell you why that's so awesome?
Please do.
So I just read a book called the You Are the Placebo, and basically what this book is saying is that we can train our brains to heal us and to give us what we want in our lives, but the main way to do that is by trying to break out of our routines. So like most people, when they mow the lawn, they mow it the same way every single time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that means that your brain isn't making any new connections. It's not firing anything new. Nothing new is being brought or built, in your brain. When Dad goes to mow the lawn, every time you do it differently, a new connection is being formed in your brain to a new place. And it's just making you smarter,
That's
more
cool.
connected to the universe, more connected to everything.
I like that. That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And I could use all the connections I can get in my brain to tell you the truth.
Yes,
But
very.
I'd be honest with you, I'm gonna share something with you guys. So the reason I just started this maybe like a month or two ago, honestly.
Really? Okay.
And it was after my father passed and everything. And then, that's kind of when everything started hit me because I kind of delayed everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was doing what I had to do, but
That's
I
how
really
it does it. Yeah, that's always.
And then I was like, and then going on with work and whatever was going on, I got to the point I was like, you know what? I'm just fucking doing it the way I want to do it.
Right.
Like whatever tells me to go which left, right, or forward, that's how I'm going.
Right.
I'm going with that instinct, and I'm just going to listen to the music, and I'm just going to let that be my motivation and just drive. And like Jenny just said, letting those thoughts just let them roll.
Yeah.
kind of. It's weird because you get a lot of them, and it's just like constant, but you're not stopping on the one, and that could be hard in itself because
like I said, I never even thought that because now as you guys are saying that, I'm like, I do that shit every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's never paid no mind. Different ways that I do it. I said I go fast, and motorcycles, cars. So for me, I'm like, that's what I'm doing. Gotcha. I'm thinking, I'm going through all that in my mind. I'm dealing and whatnot, and so.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Someone
Definitely.
pisses you off on the road.
Yeah. All right. So now, ready. So here's the question. The question.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
Sir Chom.
Oh, for me. Oh shit.
With your ADHD.
Yes.
How do you focus?
Well, ADHD is interesting because I can hyper focus because because like it's the whole thing with ADHD is that it's the what's the dopamine, right? So like your brain
there's a lot of positives for it.
Doesn't absorb dopamine
it can be like a superpower if you want it to be.
A lot of people talk about it like that. You hear like the YouTubers and the people on social media say it, but like so if there's something that you're interested in, it's so easy to focus.
Right.
Because your mind is just chasing the dopamine.
And you get that dopamine.
Right. Your mind's just chasing the dopamine. So like, I can focus. It's just if it's something I'm not interested in, I can't focus for shit.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Right. But if it's something I'm interested in, like that's what I heard that my whole life is, how come you could focus on video games for 2 hours but you can't do your homework?
Yeah.
It's like, well,
because my homework sucks.
Homework sucks.
Exactly.
The video games are gonna be all kinds of
now if homework was a video game, I might be hanging with it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So then, Jenny, how do you then explain to other people that reach out to you? How do you teach? Like, what's the first kind of I guess we'll say meditation, or just what's the first word of help when they reach out to you?
Well, I think that would depend on who I'm talking to and what they need,
right, because all individuals are different, right? They all need different things.
And I think that's the key right there in and of itself is helping the other person figure out what they need, and because a lot of times trauma survivors or people who have been living in fight or flight for years and years and years because they don't know anything but stress and chaos and drama, they don't know what they need because they've been living in survival mode their whole lives,
right?
So it's about slowing down, even if you can't sit down to meditate yet. Finding something that you enjoy doing, cleaning, doing the dishes, folding the laundry, something repetitive that can help you to slow down and get out of your own head for a little while. And then you can start to really figure out, okay, what do I need? Where do I start? Because you have to come down from that go, stress, think. You have to get out of that before you can do anything else. Your
mind is like your own worst enemy. You got to get control of it.
Yeah, that's what they say. You are your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
So,
truly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And, that's why people drink and they do all kinds of crazy things because they're trying to come down from that, but your body rebels against you when you poison it, so, it's like making it worse, but that's what addiction is. You're just trying to mask or numb,
the pain,
anything the pain, anything you haven't dealt with, the truth, you don't want to face yourself, but before you have to do that, when someone comes to me for help, the first thing I do is make sure they know that I'm there with them. They can trust me. I give them as much compassion and patience and love as I can. And I try to help them find a way to give it to themselves.
Right. Because you can't really be the one to say, oh, they're good at this, or you're good at, oh, why don't you tell, they got to be the one to figure it out. And 9 times out of 10, you kind of already know. You're just not really seeing it yet.
Right.
Exactly.
So then, so like you said, so then I guess I'm agreeing now that you doing the podcast
Damn
would
right
be.
You're going to agree.
Bro, listen. If you're on that side of the table, I talk all the shit I want on this side.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's the podcast would be where you'd be able to give everybody that slow everybody down at that one time, and that everybody can then find their own way.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
That's awesome.
And then people can. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
No, go ahead, Jen.
And then people can call in and say, "Hey, can you touch on this topic? Can you touch on this topic? Can you answer a question about this? Can you answer a question about that?" And that's how I can help them.
And you know what would be cool too? The interesting thing is going to happen to you too as it starts to grow and it starts to, get bigger. There's going to be things that you're going to be having to start to learn and understand because not everybody's trauma is the same. So now you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's an interesting question. I don't know. I have to figure this out.
And because it's your own healing. It's your own, you being able to find out. You're like, oh my goodness.
And when you look at it like that, it's like the most fascinating and coolest thing in the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think like the key to life is to never stop learning, never stop letting your environment teach you, letting people teach you. You can learn something from almost anything, if not everything.
And
you can learn something.
It sounds like Gary V. I want to just throw that out there because I love that guy.
Yeah.
He says exactly the same thing. But it doesn't matter what age you are or where you're at. Anybody can do this, do anything they want. They just got to get, just stop being afraid and just do it. Nobody cares if you're going to fall down. And trust me, nobody's going to see it or hear it or worry about it.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. You'll get past all that crap.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah. And it's hard because how many times have you sat and tried to make a video? Have you tried to make a video yet for the podcast?
I haven't tried to make a video for anything.
Okay, so what's the let's be honest, real nice. I know for me, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to because if it doesn't come out right.
Yeah, no,
but wait a minute.
That's what I learned.
Right. So, and then you had told me you shared that with me because you went through that when you first started.
Yeah, when I did because I do TikTok. Well, I the TikTok,
but look how freaking smoking good you are at it now.
So like they say, like don't overthink it.
Right.
Just do it.
Yeah, be
just
yourself.
If you overthink it, say, or be like, that's not going to be good enough. You're never going to do it.
Right.
Just put the
just do it.
Just do it. And
right.
if it sucks, it sucks. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Yeah.
Listen,
and you know what?
Do the video.
9 times out of 10.
Send it to him, and he'll edit it.
9 times out of 10, it doesn't. When you do a video, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't suck. You're just being.
It doesn't suck.
You're just being critical of yourself. Yeah, absolutely.
Will find it and go,
wow,
oh my God, I was thinking the same thing, or oh my God, I never thought of it that way, or whatever.
So many people compliment me on what from the videos that I was doing, and I really didn't think I was doing that good job. Everybody's like, oh my God, you're so good. I said, I didn't even.
So imagine if we can teach ourselves to see that in ourselves, to see the potential that we have, to see how amazing we are.
Right.
We are like these incredible self-healing magical beings, and we don't even know it. We don't even tap into it.
Right.
Because we are so afraid because of what
other people
the world has told us is right or wrong or normal or not.
Right.
Who wants to be normal? That is like the most boring thing
I am so
ever
far
in my
from
life.
normal. That's true. I can tell you, Kenny isn't either. I'll tell you that right now.
Stepford wife.
If you guys were normal, this podcast would be boring.
It would suck so bad.
Definitely.
It would be like that podcast. It wasn't a podcast. It was like on SNL where they're like. And now, and they did the sweaty balls.
The sweaty balls. Did you ever see the one with the muffin?
Exactly.
Your muffin is quite salty, I have to say, in a good way.
They were just.
That is too freaking funny, man.
But
that was a great.
But that's and it's
but it's
funny
true
because I try to.
You're overanalyzing it, aren't you?
No. I'm trying to think of the words to say that doesn't sound like I'm crazy.
Sound them out.
Or a little bit crazier, but I always try to be that positive voice. And everybody and somebody all day long. It's that opening the door. It's that smiling at somebody.
Someone saying good morning. Right.
That saying
I do it all the time.
And it's those things, and that's
yeah. But at the same time, you're a funny person. You joking all the time. You say stupid shit. You mess with people because that's your way of just making it
a better day,
and making it people rather have that than a cranky person coming around and making everything.
Yes.
I would rather have that, especially if you are funny.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward when you're not funny.
Yeah.
But hey, we deal with it, and then you can laugh about it later because he was definitely not funny.
Yeah, that fucking guy.
You gotta laugh at yourself.
Right, absolutely.
You have to be able to laugh at yourself.
But you are. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's not only the serious. I get what you say because when I work, I'll see someone in the morning. if I make eye contact, I'm saying good morning to them immediately. I don't know them from a hole in the wall.
Right, yeah.
But I do it.
Right.
Hi, how are
Me
you, sir,
too.
ma'am?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm always holding the door, like you say, always trying to do the right thing, because that's who we are. That's how we're built. You know, that's what and that's the way to be. Man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, happiness spreads.
I'm sorry.
Happiness spreads. No, I don't want to backtrack too much in the conversation, but I was just
it's
I also
okay.
wanted to say, like, circling back to, like, you know, being afraid to do things. You know, also you got to remember, like, you watch people on YouTube, they've been doing it for a long time. They're fucking good at it.
Right.
You know, so you start out and, you know, it's kind of like what we do with the podcast.
Right.
You know, we start out and we oh, you know, it'll work better. We're going to tweak this. We're going to do that. And before you know it, you become more professional at what you do. You know, with the Instagram page, we're kind of figuring that shit out now, you know, or, you know, so it's just like, you just have to do it. You're not going to be, you know, like
because if you procrastinate,
you're not going to be like Mr. Beast on YouTube and be making billions of dollars right away. You got to learn. You got to start somewhere. You got to figure shit out.
Right. But you have to do it in order to do that.
Yes, exactly.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you know, yeah. And I admit that the reason it's taken me so long with the podcast is that exact reason. You know,
right? Well, you're going to do it. You're not doing it with. Are you going to do it with video and audio, or you're going to just do it with the audio for now?
No, I'm just going to do it with audio to start out.
The audio is fine.
That's perfect. With that, because that's how you learn.
Yeah.
You figure one thing out and add stuff on. Don't overcomplicate.
And I feel like even if it doesn't really reach that many people, it will be good for me either way. You know what I mean? It will be therapeutic for me.
Yeah. That's what we said about this. We said, you know what? If our podcast doesn't go anywhere, we're enjoying ourselves.
We're enjoying ourselves. We're going to do it anyway.
Yeah. We'll lie to everybody and tell them that we're really, you know,
exactly.
We're just sitting here hanging out bullshitting. Yeah.
Right. But we enjoy. Listen, we all, you know, when I brought it to them and said, hey, do you want to do this? You know, and when we first started, we were trying to figure it out. It took us a few times, and then we finally
first show.
That's right. Trying to figure it out. That was the first show.
That was the first show.
And look where we are now. I mean, like Thomas is absolutely freaking right. No, but I'm saying he's absolutely right, because if you don't, it's uncomfortable. Yeah. Everything is uncomfortable when you don't know something or you're unsure of what's going to happen. So you just got to get past that. And once you do, you know, you're fine. You know what I mean? It was like when I remember the first time when I played football, I was scared out of my mind. As soon as I started playing and the first time about pads hit and whatever, boom, I was fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing with, like, when we were growing up roller skating, dancing, right? When you knew you could dance good, but you didn't want to do it in front of everyone. Then you finally did, and everybody was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, and then you're like, oh, shit.
It's when you say that, bro, because I got caught dancing. That's
was
what
it like Napoleon Dynamite dance?
No. I went out to a club, right? And I thought I was just by myself. Yeah, right? I went out by myself, and I didn't go with, I went with one cousin, but I didn't think anybody else that I knew was around. I'm over there and I'm cutting the rug, yo. I'm doing like dirty in the middle of the floor.
You can cut a rug, doing man, trust me.
I'm going bananas over there, and I turn around and there's my sister and my cousin. I was like, oh, shit.
Like Ralph Crandom in Honeymoon.
Yeah. And after that, yo, that was it. Every time we went somewhere, they're like, come. And then I was like 16 years old, man.
Yeah.
Like,
and the whole whole time you were doing it, right? What about, for me, it was, I remember with the heat waves in Sheepshead Bay, right? We doctored my birth certificate, because that's all you needed back then. You erased it, you put a different date in, I went, right? And the whole time I was in there, bro, they were jamming. The DJ was jamming. And all I could think is, I still want to dance so fucking bad right now.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't, because I was scared. I was nervous. I was 16 years old, you know. I was first time in a club, you know, and I figured, oh man, people are gonna like, you know, you think of the worst before you allow yourself to try it, and that's just
the worst. Like
the worst thing you can do to yourself.
The music goes,
look
at this guy,
and you still dancing.
The worst dancer we've ever seen in our lives.
Who let this bastard in?
Get out of here!
Somebody get him out of here. That is great. That is great. Well, then you know what? And I'll say this, Jenny. You know, you now being on here with us, that should make it that much easier for you.
Absolutely.
You know, to know that you can just talk.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
And we will be guests on your show.
Guess what? I don't know if you want all of us on there. I'll go. I don't know if these other two guys.
We could do like a crossover event, you know, where like we're both taping an episode and we both put it up. You know?
We could do that. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
That's a really good idea.
And not only that, that, you know, that's a good thing too. It'll give you a boost too, because it'll, you know, people who listen,
right? Because you guys are already like established.
Yeah,
we're hoping at some point, but
we know a lot of people. That's all it was, you know.
I have a business card.
Yeah.
No, that's,
I've been giving them out. It's at the barbershop, mine.
I've been giving them out. I just been dropping them on like people's counters. Like if I go into a coffee shop or something, I just sort of like throw 3 or 4 of them on it and I walk out. You know,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a really good idea, and it's not expensive either. Because I got you know, business cards for the business, but this was before I knew I was going to do the podcast,
right?
And they were inexpensive, and I got a bunch of them.
Yeah,
I mean, it came out really nice.
And put them on the supermarket boards when you go in. You know, we had to have something. I had to pin it into that too. I don't know. I was doing that as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
You see?
Yeah.
You see, guys?
So you never know. I mean, and then, you know, this is good for you. This is, like Kenny said, absolutely. It's good for you. So we're glad that we did this for you the first time. And it was nice to have you on the show. It was really great. And
yes.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, because this is,
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, because this is a necessity. You know, you hear so many, and I think it's better that it's somebody, understand how I'm saying it, it's a regular person. You know, it's not somebody that you see on, you know, TV who's, you know, famous and this thing like, yeah, bullshit. You don't know, you weren't in there. You know, you didn't really go through.
Yeah, what do you know about this, and this? You know what I mean? And definitely, I totally agree with you. Like I always say, I would never want to do it again. But if someone asks me, do you have any regrets? I always say no, because you know, how can I?
Makes you who
what
the
I
person
got
you are today.
out of this, made me who I am now. I mean, and I have to be honest, when I look back on the person that I was, sometimes I still go, oh, you know what I mean? I can't believe that was me. But I'm learning how to look back on her with compassion and just say, you know, she was doing the best she could with what she had at the time, you know. And, you know, now because of her sacrifice, you know, and stupidity, I am this person that I am now and that I'm growing into.
And experience as well. You can't,
and experience.
Regardless if it's good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't make a difference. You know what I mean? It's just...
No, it doesn't. Yeah, I agree. Totally.
So,
Totally,
I mean, because that's the part that we have to accept. Like they say, you know, you got to accept the good and the bad in order for you to be who you are. You know what I mean? You're never going to be perfect. You're never going to be like that. It's too hard. It's too much work. You're going to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
it's
just right. It's nuts.
Every time you fail or something goes wrong, you're so hard on yourself. I remember I used to say to people, there's nothing you could say to me that could hurt me, because what I tell myself every day is way worse than anything you could ever say to me.
Fair enough.
You know, and that's how I really felt. I hated myself. I mean, there was zero love there. I had no compassion or love whatsoever for myself.
Right.
And that was just out of shame and guilt and fear and all the other crap, you know.
Right.
And finally, I'm able to look into myself, and with all the garbage, you know, all the stuff I don't like, and still say, I love this person, you know?
Yeah, it's important.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
because you come a long way. So,
well, I learned that I meditate and didn't even know.
Yep, there you go.
So
there
thank you for that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
See, I didn't even know that. Yeah. And like I said, I
just not meditating like a monk.
No,
you know
no. And I'm not sitting
nobody
in the bathroom.
budgeted.
Yeah. And it's not sitting in the bathroom way too long. Like that's not the same kind of meditation. It's different. Yeah. No. Yeah.
I've actually done that type of meditation before.
You see,
mantra
bro,
meditation.
that explains a lot.
That's a whole fucking different thing.
That explains a lot.
Oh yeah. You need to be like, that's
serious.
Different.
We do.
I've done
We do it in a. I think on Mondays they're starting to do it now at the dojo. They have someone. Okay. She's a yoga instructor, but she's also meditation.
Oh, okay.
So we do the meditation with her for like a half hour. It's actually not bad, because the thing I try to do is I keep just telling myself positive affirmations while I'm laying there listening to the music or whatever it's saying.
That's,
you know, just saying, hey,
too.
Yeah,
you know, not anything that comes in negative, I just don't even pay attention to it. I just go, like Jenny said, just let them roll in, and you know, however it works for you, man, is how it's supposed to be.
Yep.
some people say, like, imagine clouds in the sky, and the clouds are your thoughts, and you're just looking at them and watching them go by.
Right.
You are not your thoughts. You are the person who's listening to the thoughts.
Right.
I know that's a crazy concept, but it took me a minute to get my head around that. But yeah, that really helps me to think of it that way, where I'm like looking at my thoughts instead of being one with them, and that really just helped me like separate them. But
that's great. Well, you come a long way, honey, and that's awesome. I'm proud of you, and I love you. And thank you so much for being a guest on our show, because
it was a pleasure.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great having you.
Yep. Yeah. And say one more again, your whole
do your
organization,
thing,
your thing. Yeah, do your pitch.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wounded Warrior Woman. And you can find me on Facebook. That'll be the best way to find me, is on Facebook. My name is also Jenny Crawford on Facebook, and you can find me that way too. And my page is linked to that. And I was glad to be here, and I hope I get to do it again with you guys soon.
Yes, definitely.
Look forward to it.
Put you on our stuff too.
Get the podcast.
You gotta let us know.
I will for sure.
I will for sure. Instagram stories and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
awesome.
Thank you very much for joining us today, and everybody else. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate everybody for listening. Thank you guys for being here this week. Love, peace, and hair grease.
Live long and prosper.
And go vegan.
Hello.